You have to learn to say no to well-meaning people who ultimately just want you to get involved in entanglements and drama that, even if they have good intentions, it produces zero fruit, steals your joy, steals your time, and just puts you in like an entangled mess. And it's an ongoing cycle. This is part of simplifying your life and pruning anything that isn't producing good fruit. The Bible says you judge them by the fruit they bear. So if a situation or a relationship is not bearing good fruit, you have the right to judge that situation because of the results that it's producing. So simplifying your life is also knowing when to say no to the people who are bringing out the worst in you and producing entanglements, things that aren't producing fruit, things that are stealing your joy, your time, your peace. It's part of letting go. And it's part of, even the saying, let go and let God. It is. You let them live the life they want to live. And by you stepping out of that relationship or that cycle, they're going to keep doing the same thing anyways. So the interesting thing is, it's not like by you not being a part of it, they're going to all of a sudden stop. You could contact somebody 5 years later and their life's the exact same. And you're like, well, whether I'm there or not, whether I'm engaging in the conversations with them or not, whether I'm giving up my time or not, they're going to be doing the same thing. So you might as well just live your life and stop dragging that relationship along. I mean, it's really what it is. You're either sharpening each other or you're dragging each other. People need to wake up from their own slumber, their own issues. They need to come to the honest realization of what their choices and their decisions are doing to their life. And by you being involved could keep them thinking, oh, it's not so bad because so-and-so is always agreeing with me and they're always there for me, so I can count on them. It ends up being an enablement, and it's stealing your life. I'm talking about this subject because I surprisingly received a ton of messages on my Instagram from this last walk and talk about toxic relationships and friendships. And it's crazy how many people are going through similar situations with people that are producing drama and causing drama. A healthy friendship and a healthy relationship, it brings out the best in you. You're nourishing each other. It's like the Bible says sharpening each other, but that's a very broad statement. Like, you're nourishing each other to be your best. You also don't need to constantly explain yourself or ask permission from that other person or from other people. When you get to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm going to simplify my life and I'm not going to drag toxic relationships I'm going to honor my time. The time is a gift that God gave me. I'm going to produce fruit in my own life. I'm going to take accountability for my own actions. You're really just bringing it all in, so then you can pour your best self back out to those around you. And you're cutting the cords, you're cutting the ties of the situations, the friendships, the relationships, even the things that you might be involved in that are bringing out the lowest self, your lowest self. They're bringing out such a lesser version of you, an exhausted, time-wasted, complaining version of you. We all have that. I mean, if we let ourselves, we will complain and turn into victims so quick. And so you have to really watch the relationships that produce that, because again, you want friendships and relationships that want to see you grow. You want to see each other win. It's a healthy transaction between two well-meaning people, but the fruits are there to acknowledge that healthy relationship. So you could be well-meaning, but then the fruits are rotten. Well, the intentions don't mean anything if the results, it's like there's a lot of good intentioned people that do things and say, well, I thought I was doing the right thing. My intentions were good, but then they produce all kinds of havoc. So it's like, well, the results are the results, whether you had good intentions or not. Now, I've spent so many years of my life trying to wake people up, trying to say, get them to snap out of it. But, when people are so heavily involved in their own issues, they can't see anything past that, because it's just me, all consuming, all about me, complaining about everybody else around them, complaining about their job. If it's not the job, it's this person, it's the spouse. If it's not the spouse, it's the kids. If it's not the kids, it's the management. If it's not the management, it's the government. If it's not, it's always something. And you're just like, man, you are just never going to be happy no matter what it is. And you got to decide, do you want to be a part of that? Or do you want to free yourself from that? Going back to like self-accountability, a lot of times we talk ourselves out of the things we know we need to do, and then we convince ourselves that we don't need to do it. Stop talking yourself out of what you know has to get done. You're just delaying it. You're delaying your own freedom. You're delaying your own simplicity. You're delaying your own peace. And I'm not saying that, well, it's all about you. And, I'm definitely not saying that life is just about making yourself happy and whatever makes you happy, do that. I'm not saying that. It's much more than that. But what I'm saying is that if you are broken, busted, disgusted, struggling, stressed, you're not helping anybody. You're not even helping yourself. You're definitely not a light in the world because you're too tired to be. You're exhausted, you're beat up, and you're allowing people to do that to you. This goes back to you are the one allowing it. So what you continue to allow, you just you're gonna have to suck it up. You have to stop allowing it. So it's like you have to stop tolerating those things. And you can't spend your life trying to change the other person or change other people, but you can change yourself. You can change how you respond to situations. Instead of reacting to them, you can change how you learn and grow from them. You could take them. You don't have to respond or react to every attack or every situation. You could take time to think about it. And I'm going to think about this. And pray about it. Ask God, what's wisdom in this certain situation? God, show me, give me discernment. Show me what to do in this specific, and then, specific situation. And then just take a pause. You don't always have to default to that go-to attack or that go-to response. And one of the best things that has helped me is just don't answer the phone. Like, don't answer their message. If they send you a nasty message, block them. If they're constantly blowing up your phone with problems, block their number for a while, or don't answer. If you feel bad and you're looking at it, you're like, oh, I'm so tempted to respond to that. It's easier just to either not answer or block it so you don't even see it. You have to, the things that are causing the entanglements in your life, you have to stop them before they come, because there's always going to be that. Like, the enemy's always trying to trip you up. He's always going to throw something in there. He's going to throw somebody who he knows is going to just like piss you off or cause some type of problem or whatever. So you have to always be on guard. You have to be like 10 steps ahead. It's coming, so just block it ahead of time. So you're not even tempted to be involved in either that gossip circle or be involved in enabling the other person or just wasting your own time. So it really comes down to you, like what you're going to allow in your life and what you're not going to allow. A lot of these things end up being the reasons why you're working so much harder than you need to be instead of working wiser and smarter. I've learned to position instead of grind all the time. It's like you're active and resting all at the same time, because you're actively doing what you know you should be doing in a restful kind of way, and when you remove the things that are causing the entanglements, the strife, the extra strife, the unrest, the drama, all of those things, it becomes much easier to be the person who God made you to be, because you're getting rid of a lot of the things that are producing the ugliness. If you have a drinking problem or you like to drink and you get out of hand after that, well, that is producing ugliness in because you're getting to a state where you're not really controlling yourself. All of these different things you have to take down. It's like you're taking them down before it's affecting you, before it's coming. You already know how you're going to feel. If you've done things a certain way so many times for so many years, you already know the results of those. You already know how you're going to feel. You already know what it's going to produce. So you're just going to keep getting more of the same. You have to be willing to let those things go if it's producing results that aren't serving you anymore. And they're not serving your family. They're not serving your health. And they're just making it harder for you to live the life you want to live, to be successful and be healthy and be a good steward of what God's given you, because all of these things are getting in the way. So you have to start pulling those things out one by one. You're decluttering your life, little at a time. I didn't want to be under the weight of debt any longer. And so because I liked to shop and consume, and I was always hunting for sales, and and if it was a good deal, if it was a great deal, you wanted to share everybody, look at the deal that I got. I've seen people on Instagram, these women are like, I got this set for $18, and I'm immediately like, you just wasted your money, because it's total garbage. But they love it, and they think that one thing is gonna make their whole living room look different, and it doesn't. They're just cramming it in and shoving it into what they already have. And so you have all the money in the world to go blow it, that's fine, but it becomes a cycle. It becomes a cycle for many women, such as myself, and then you can't get out of that cycle because you're always on the hunt. And then the good deal feels as like triggers an adrenaline rush. You got this great deal, you want to show it, people applaud you for it. Oh, that's so great, I can't believe you found that. And it keeps you wanting to get more because people applauded you for something junky, something, a waste of money. And so it's like the girl who, she was a vegan, all she ate was fruit. She blew up on Instagram or TikTok or something, and she died of starvation. And she had so many people applauding, oh my gosh, I can't believe how great you look, this and that. So it was like such a destructive cycle of the applause of other people. And it keeps you stuck in that cycle because you're thinking, oh, everybody loved this, I better go do it again, I better get more. And so it keeps you in a cycle where you're blowing money, racking up credit cards, buying things you don't need, until, I finally got to the point where I was like, I don't want to be under the weight of this. I don't want to be under this pressure. I don't want to be owing, and I don't want to be a slave to anything. I want freedom. And I'll tell you, it takes so long to dig out, because it's like you're digging the hole a little at a time. Like, think about it, like a little spoon, you're digging. Before you know it, you are buried. You're so buried, and you're like, how did this happen? Well, the $20 great deal here, the $10 great deal there, on top of the interest, the 30% interest, kept you going deeper and deeper a little at a time. So you don't notice it right away because it's a little at a time. It's those little compromises before you know it. Like 100 extra calories a day is 10 pounds a year. So it's the little sauces, this little Chick-fil-A sauce is no big deal, I'm gonna dip this chicken in it. And then over the year, you're like, how did I get so fat? How do I have inflammation? How come my blood pressure is so high? How come I feel like crap? Like, it's the little things that we're not noticing, that we're blind to, that cause the biggest problems in our life. I'm staying still so it's not so windy. This is like a calm spot. But it's those problems, especially with the trend chasing and the shopping addictions, it's the little things that add up. And unless you have a friend that says, hey, wake up from this, and doesn't just keep engaging it with you, you're feeding each other with it. Like, oh yeah, let's go do this, let's go do that. And, a lot of times it's comfortable because it's familiar. That's the friend that you go shopping with. That's the friend you do things with. That's the friend. And before you know it, you're both fat. You're both unhealthy. You both are, probably have marriage problems. You're both in the same boat, credit card debt, and you both have a cluttered house full of junk, but you're besties, and you're like, well, so you have to decide, am I going to sharpen this person? Because when you start to sharpen yourself, if they don't want to, they're going to resent you for it. They're not going to want to hang out with you, probably. They're not going to like you for it, and they're going to continue on. But when one person starts to wake up and they're like, you know what, I don't want to go get a burger and fries and a shake today, or I don't want to go do Starbucks and then go thrifting today. I'd rather work out. Be like, ew, like, why would you rather do that? This is so much more fun. Let's go to Home Goods and Target, and let's go see what sales there are. So, but if you are the one, and maybe they want to too, they're like, yeah, you know what, let's change and let's help each other. But more times than not, there's one person who doesn't want to, and then they're going to resent the person who is. And then when you start changing, they're going to gossip into, oh, can you believe how good she thinks she's so much better than me now because she doesn't want to hang out with me? And really you're just trying to better your life, and they can't stand it. But God will bring the right people to you when you enter that season. He'll bring fresh people. You'll meet the other women who are waking up like you, who are like, you know what, I'm not going to spend any more of my life as this lower version of myself or this lower part of myself. I'm going to do what I have to do. God will bring people. And if he doesn't, oh well. There's been plenty of times where I've had to walk that path totally alone. And you know what? It's actually better because you're not having to explain You're not showing up for anybody. They're not judging you. You're not judging them. You're just focused. It's literally just you and God. You're walking the path for that time being alone. It's okay to do that sometimes. Like a woman walking alone sometimes, not physically, but I mean, walking that path with just her and God side by side, knowing that she's just doing, like, he's working in you during that time. He's speaking to you. He's building discipline in you. He's building you up to say, daughter, you are worth more. I have this glorious future for you, and you're not going to be able to obtain it if you're not healthy enough to grab it. If you're so involved in meaningless, frivolous, worldly things that are stealing your time, stealing your joy, that you're allowing, so it's a really beautiful time when you just kind of cut all of that fat, and you cut the people who are cut the people out of your life, even for a time being. I should say, put up boundaries while you're changing. If they're not going to be with you while you're changing, that's the time where you put up boundaries. And if they're with you and they're supporting you and they're like, hey, I totally understand, they'll understand. They'll be with you when you're done. Or they'll say, you know what, I want to walk, I want to do it with you. That's different. But again, very few people will. Usually when you wake up, the rest, they're still asleep. It's your opportunity to create a life of meaning and impact. And it's so much easier to do that when you aren't under oppression, when you're not sick all the time, when you're not in problems all the time. It's much easier to live a life of impact. Of course, you can still help. You can still have problems and help people. Like, there's no doubt about it. In fact, you can be a big help, as even in the middle of your own problems, you can help so many people. So I'm not saying just to pull back completely your whole life and we're meant to engage with other people. We're social creatures. But what I have found is most people don't want to do the work that has to get done. But they want to get the results. They want to take the work that maybe you did for themselves or ride your coattail. And so you have to watch out for that and be willing to surround yourself with people that are equally willing to do the work. Are they going to show up? Are they going to push themselves? Are they going to do that? Or are they going to come up with excuses, quick fixes, and pull you down and slow you down and throw boulders in your way to make it more difficult? So again, you're allowing it, so you're the one in control. Put up the boundaries if they need, and run your race unapologetically. Don't explain to people why you're doing it. Just follow what God has for your life, your path, and build a simplified, peaceful, elevated life.